Hey folks, welcome back to another Genshin Impact video, and today we're going to talk a bit about the exchange shop. So, I'm on the NA server, right, North America server, and unfortunately, as one of the woes of being on the NA server, we get everything like the last, basically. I guess the upside is, well, you guys don't get the bugs, right, if they happen, because it happens to the Asia server first, but then they get fixed, and then you guys don't, well, I don't care, I wouldn't mind bugs, I want to get stuff earlier, but it is what it is. We don't have our shop reset, but it did reset in Asia. And I just want to talk a bit about the exchange, starglitter exchange characters, right, for next month. So this month we actually had a Razor and an Amber, which is not that great. Not that great. Look, no offense to Razor fans. I mean, if you guys love playing with your favorite character, all, power to you. That's fantastic. I love it, right? But Razor is not that great of a character to really spend, starglitter exchange points for, if not, not that great of a unit overall. And also the other one's Amber. Amber's actually not the worst. I think Amber gets a bit too much slander for some like stuff that she could actually be a pretty solid, sub DPS / support if you really want, right? And like she's okay. Would I really spend starglitter on her though personally? Probably not. But like units like her are slightly interesting, and the fact that they are like standard banner characters, right? And not only are they standard banner characters, they're standard banner exclusive characters. So sometimes it's pretty hard to pull these because you really only get them from like blue fates, and like no one, I would say most people don't unironically buy blue fates to pull on the standard banner, right? You generally want intertwined fates, right? To pull on event banners. So you actually don't get a lot of these, but again, Amber's, again, I do think she's slightly, slandered a bit too much. I'm not saying she's good. She's not, an incredible character, or well, I mean, the character's fine. But in terms of like a unit, right? She's not an incredible unit, but I don't think she's terrible either, right? She definitely has certain really decent uses. Like you could find some really nice use with her, like cause or whatever. But again, she's nothing crazy, right? So next month, on the other hand, we actually have some really nice stuff. So since Asia did already reset theirs, right? So we actually do know what we're getting next month, and it's actually Bennett and Lisa, which are, well, I'd say much better, right? For an obviously, Bennett, some could argue is the best 4-star in the game, right? Some could argue Bennett is better than many 5-stars because of his obviously healing capabilities, but also the insane attack buffs that he gives to your team, and it's just a really fantastic burst support that does everything, right? So unless you have your Bennett, at C6 or C5, like me, right, I'd say it's worth, maybe throwing in a few of these starglitters, trying to, go for a Bennett, right? Like, as long as your Bennett is like under C5, I'd say try to pick up a Bennett. This guy's constellation is just really good, right? Like, in of himself, he's very nice. I mean, if you don't have a single one, I'd say definitely go for at least one, right? But if you also look at his constellations, right, his C1 is huge, right? There's no HP restriction for the attack increase, which is really, so you get the HP, so you get the heals, and you get the attack buff at the same time, which is fantastic, and you get an extra 20% buff on top of that for Bennett's base attack as well, which is just fantastic. C2 is also really good for the extra energy recharge. C3 is kind of whatever. And then C4, you also have the extra ccharge. This is kind of whatever, right? I mean, unless you're trying to build like deep DPS Bennett, which is fine. I mean, there's people who do DPS Bennett, but yeah. But the one you really want to get to is C5, so you get the extra +3 on his burst, which obviously gives, well, the extra bonus ratios and stuff, right? So yeah, and regen as well. So yeah, Bennett, if you don't have him at C5 yet, I'd say pick him up. C6, look, we're not really gonna relitigate the C6 Bennett debate. If you are mainly trying to use pyro damage, characters like a Xiangling, like a Diluc, like a Klee or whatever, right? Then Hutao, then yeah, this is good, right? Extra 15% fire damage bonus is, you know, no joke, right? But also, do keep in mind the downsides. You would have to, you know, infuse some really important damages, like maybe Eula's physical damage turns into pyro, which is not good, or Ayaka's cryo damage turns into pyro, which is also not good, right? So, again, I'd say at least if you're under C5, go pick up a Bennett. This guy's, again, really, really amazing. As for Lisa, I mean, like, I'm personally gonna pick it up because I like Lisa because, you guys know why people like Lisa, come on. But, you know, outside of that, her cons are actually pretty good. And again, Lisa does fall into that category of standard banner exclusive 4-star. So, again, if you're not spending money on the standard banner, which, by the way, again, you shouldn't. Most people shouldn't spend money on the standard banner, right? You would have a pretty low chance of getting extra constellations for Lisa. Obviously, the first one's free. Everyone has that. But extra constellations are pretty hard to come by. And the shop at least guarantees you one, right? So that's good at least. And Lisa's cons are actually pretty good. Lisa has some really, really good constellations, low key, right? And look, again, I'm not sure free-to-play players really want to spend their star glitter on like a Lisa constellation, but if you're like a dolphin or whatever, or a whale, I'd say definitely go for one, just because again, it's just really hard to come by otherwise, right? It's one of the more like rare things to pull in the game. And Lisa definitely could have her uses. She's a really nice off-field electro applier, right? That could, you know, do some pretty nice damage there as well. And again, if you look at her constellations, right, I think I think C2 is kind of whatever, but all their constellations are really, really nice. Her C1 gives you extra energy for every, you know, opponent you hit while you hold your E, right? Up to 10, which is really, really nice, because again, you want to get her ult out as much as possible, right? And it does cost a bit. It's an 80 cost skill, right? So definitely costly, right? Definitely costly. So that definitely helps a lot. Definitely helps a lot. C2 is kind of whatever. It's the one I have, unfortunately. The hold E has 15%, or not 15, 25% defense increase for Lisa, and then increase her resistance to interruption, which is, again, it's not terrible. It's a little nice QL buff for her, but it's not, you know, anything crazy. Her C3 does give the upgrade to Lightning Rose, right, which is her ult, which is again the main way of applying that off-field electro damage, or just for whatever kind of team you're going, whether it's electro charge, overload, whatever, right? And then your C4 is actually pretty nice too. It increases the lightning balls released by your Lightning Rose, right? By 1 to 3. So that's really, really good. You get extra lightning bolts from that. Obviously, it's really nice because you get extra hits on that, right? And then C5 is upgrade on your E, which is not bad either. And then C6 gives you 3 stacks of the Violet Arc, right, to nearby opponents. So you don't have to like triple E on an opponent, then hold E. You could just come in, hold E, boom. They're already at level 3, you know, conduct status. So yeah, I think all these constellations are really, really nice for Lisa. So if you are, you know, if you at least lean towards using Lisa sometimes here and there, I'd say, you know, it's really, really nice. So yeah, that's good. But yeah, it's definitely something you could at least like consider, right? It's just that, again, if you're free to play, like you probably want to save those star glitters for, I guess, more important stuff. But or you're just like Fates, right? But I'd say it's good. I'd say it's good otherwise, just because like eventually most players eventually, if you play long enough, right? Obviously not a lot of people are at this stage yet, but if you do play long enough, you'll eventually get all the other 4 stars to like C6. But it will take an immense amount of time to C6 all the starter 4 stars, right? But anyways, regardless, Bennett's at least really, really good. Again, if you don't have at least C5 Bennett, go for Bennett. So anyways, yeah, that's really this one. I guess hope y'all enjoyed. You guys think in the comments up below. Like, share this video, subscribe to the channel for some more Genshin Impact content. So you guys in the next one then.